Caitlin Clark has always been a star, but this offseason, she's turned into a whole new beast. With intense training and a relentless mindset, she's stronger, smarter, and more unstoppable than ever. Coach Stephanie White expected greatness, but what she got was a game changer. Let's get into it. But before further proceeding in video, if you're new to the channel, please support by hit that subscribe button for more updates.
Dominance.
Caitlin Clark has always been known for her fierce competitiveness, but her recent training sessions with Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White have raised the bar to an entirely new level. Those who thought they had already seen the best of Clark are quickly realizing that she's been quietly crafting an even more unstoppable version of herself behind the scenes this offseason. Coach White entered training camp fully aware that she would be working with an elite talent, but what she encountered was something beyond expectations. A relentless force of nature, laser focused on taking the WNBA by storm. From her dramatic physical transformation to the refinement of her already electrifying skill set, Clark isn't just improving, she's evolving into a whole new kind of dominant player, one that could redefine what it means to be a superstar in the league. What exactly did Caitlin Clark do to leave her coach in awe? Known for her relentless competitiveness, Clark has taken her game to new heights during her latest training sessions with Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White. While she had already proven herself as one of the most electrifying young stars in the WNBA last season, what she's accomplished this offseason has completely shifted the narrative around her potential. Clark made a statement the moment she arrived at training camp. Stronger, quicker, and more focused than ever before. Everyone expected her to improve, but no one could have predicted the drastic transformation she has undergone in just a few short months. From sharpening her skills to elevating her physicality, she's leaving nothing to chance as she gears up for her sophomore season in the WNBA. Coach White, who has worked with some of the greatest players in women's basketball, thought she was getting an elite shooter and playmaker, and she is. But what she didn't anticipate was just how much Clark had expanded every aspect of her game, proving that her ceiling is even higher than anyone imagined. The first thing that immediately stood out was Clark's striking physical transformation. From the moment she stepped onto the court, it was clear she had spent the offseason dedicated to building strength. Last season, defenders had success using physicality against her. They bumped her off screens, knocked her off balance on drives, and gradually wore her down throughout games. While Clark has always been tough, she wasn't the most physically dominant player on the floor. But that approach isn't going to work anymore. Clark has noticeably increased her upper body strength, allowing her to absorb contact far more effectively when attacking the basket. Defenders who once knocked her off her path will now find themselves struggling to move her. Instead of being pushed around, she's the one initiating the physicality. What's even more concerning for opponents, however, is how much stronger her lower body has become. A more powerful base has made her quicker, more explosive, and far more stable when pulling up for her jump shot. Last season, defenses could disrupt her momentum and force her into difficult shots. This time around, she's in complete control. Coach White was left speechless when she saw it unfold. Caitlin Clark wasn't just scoring, she was imposing her will on the game in a way she hadn't before. She was slicing through defenses, absorbing contact from bigger opponents, and finishing with a level of physicality that made it clear she wasn't just here to compete, she was here to dominate. But Clark's transformation wasn't just about strength, it was about strategy. One of the biggest challenges she faced in her rookie season was how teams defended her. Opponents knew she could drain threes from anywhere, so they forced her off the perimeter, crowding her space and making her take difficult mid-range shots or contested drives to the basket. Instead of letting that slow her down, Clark spent her offseason doing exactly what elite players do, adapting. She put in countless hours in the gym, perfecting her mid-range jumper so that now, when defenders rush to close out on her deep shots, she doesn't have to force a tough drive. She can stop on a dime and knock down a smooth pull-up. Coach White quickly realized how much of a game changer this was. If Clark could become just as lethal in the mid-range as she was from beyond the arc, defenders would be left scrambling with no way to contain her. And the scariest part, she's already executing it at an elite level. In training, she's been relentlessly drilling her quick-release jumper, ensuring she can rise up before defenders have time to react. And if they try to recover late, she's now got a floater in her arsenal, an entirely new weapon she barely used last season, but has since mastered in just a few months. But Coach White's focus isn't just on Clark's scoring, it's on her evolution into the Fever's undisputed leader. Last season, she was already the face of the franchise, but now she's stepping into the role of a true floor general. White has been pushing her to command the offense with her voice, take full control of the team's tempo, and elevate those around her. Together, they've been breaking down film, analyzing defensive schemes, and finding ways to make Clark even more dangerous as a playmaker. Her court vision has always been elite, but now she's learning how to dictate the pace of the game with surgical precision. Instead of always searching for the highlight reel pass, she's developing a deeper understanding of when to attack, when to slow things down, and how to manipulate defenses to create easy looks, not just for herself, but for her teammates as well. With every drill, every practice, and every film session, Clark is proving that she's not just improving, she's evolving. And if her growth in just a few months is any indication, the rest of the league better be ready, because Caitlin Clark isn't just coming back better, she's coming back unstoppable. Clark has been laser focused on making smarter decisions with the ball, ensuring every pass is precise and perfectly timed. That translates to fewer turnovers, higher efficiency, and more open looks for her teammates. And speaking of teammates, the Fever made it a priority this offseason to give Clark exactly what she needed: support. Last season, she carried the burden of being Indiana's primary scorer, playmaker, and go-to option in nearly every crucial moment. Defenses swarmed her, and without enough offensive firepower around her, opposing teams had a clear game plan: shut down Clark and you shut down the Fever. But this year, that's all changing. Indiana made major moves by bringing in DeWanna Bonner, one of the league's most respected veterans, to provide leadership and a reliable secondary scoring option. They also added Natasha Howard, a defensive powerhouse who will allow Clark to conserve energy and focus more on orchestrating the offense rather than scrambling on defense. Beyond the star acquisitions, role players like Lexi Hull, Nalissa Smith, and Christy Wallace are stepping up, giving Indiana the kind of depth they lacked last season. That means fewer double and triple teams, better floor spacing, and a far more dynamic offense. Coach White is already implementing new offensive sets designed to maximize Clark's improved decision-making and the added weapons around her. The goal: to make the Fever unpredictable. Instead of being the only threat opposing defenses need to worry about, Clark now has teammates who demand attention, opening up more scoring opportunities than ever before. And let's not forget one of the biggest concerns from her rookie season: turnovers. With so much responsibility on her shoulders last year, Clark was often forced into difficult situations, leading to a higher than expected turnover rate. But under this revamped system, that's being addressed. Coach White has been drilling her on reading the floor, picking her spots wisely, and maintaining her signature creativity while tightening up her decision-making. The result? A smarter, more dangerous version of Caitlin Clark, one that's ready to take the league by storm. The Fever's new offensive system is designed to elevate Caitlin Clark's game to new heights, allowing her to process the floor more efficiently, play with greater composure, and eliminate unnecessary turnovers. That doesn't mean she'll stop dazzling fans with jaw-dropping plays. Far from it. The difference now is that she'll be executing them with even greater precision, and that's the magic word: precision. Coach Stephanie White has made it her mission to mold Clark into not just a superstar, but an unstoppable force of efficiency. The raw talent has always been there, but now Clark is learning how to control the pace, maximize every possession, and make every shot count. That's what separates a great player from a true legend. And let's not forget, Clark has something to prove. She's heard the skeptics, the critics, the ones who claim she was overhyped, that she's just a shooter, that she won't dominate in the WNBA. way. But instead of letting the noise get to her, she's using it as motivation. Every grueling workout, every extra hour in the gym, every late night shooting session, it's all about silencing the doubters and proving that she's not just ready for the league, she's ready to take it over. With a stronger physique, a more dynamic offensive arsenal, a revamped team, and a coach who fully believes in her, Clark isn't just aiming to be better in 2025. She's aiming to redefine what's possible. Coach White has coached some of the best talents in women's basketball, but she sees something different in Clark. She's not just here to compete, she's here to dominate. And if training camp is any indication of what's coming, the WNBA better prepare itself, because Caitlin Clark 2.0 is officially on the way, and she's about to change the game. Coach Stephanie White has spent years coaching and analyzing top-tier talent, but even with all that experience, she wasn't prepared for the transformation she's seeing in Caitlin Clark. Clark has always been known for her tireless work ethic, but this offseason, she took it to another level. She didn't just refine her game, she rebuilt it entirely. Every weakness from her rookie season, gone. Every challenge she faced, turned into fuel. The Caitlin Clark stepping onto the court now isn't just better, she's more powerful, more precise, and more determined than ever before. And for the teams that thought they had figured her out, they're about to realize they have no answers. Coach White expected improvement, but what she's witnessing is something different. Clark hasn't just adapted to the WNBA, she's mastering it. Most young players take years to adjust to the league's pace and physicality, but Clark has already cracked the code. Last season, teams threw every defensive scheme at her. Double teams, aggressive traps, non-stop pressure. But instead of faltering, she absorbed it all like a sponge. She broke down film, dissected her mistakes, and studied defenders' tendencies. Now, she's returning to the court with a plan, and every team that once tried to slow her down is about to feel the consequences. What makes Clark's development even more impressive isn't just her enhanced strength and speed, it's her intelligence. Coach White has been working closely with her on controlling the game rather than reacting to it, and Clark has fully embraced that challenge. She spent countless hours studying film, recognizing patterns, and learning how to break down defenses before they even get set. Her decision-making has become razor sharp, allowing her to manipulate defenders rather than simply responding to their movements. Training camp has put her in every pressure-packed situation imaginable. Late game scenarios, intense defensive traps, high-speed decision-making drills, and every time she's delivered. If teams collapse on her, she finds the open teammate with pinpoint accuracy. If defenders sag off, she confidently steps into her jump shot and buries it. She's not just making plays, she's controlling the flow of the game, dictating the terms, and staying 2 steps ahead of the competition. This version of Caitlin Clark is everything Coach White believed she could become, but the speed of her evolution is what's truly staggering. Clark has always had the fire and drive, but now she carries a confidence that makes her even more dangerous. She steps onto the court knowing she's outworked everyone, knowing she's prepared for anything, and knowing that stopping her is becoming an impossible task. WNBA teams can't defend her the way they did last year, because this time, she's the one calling the shots. Last season, teams had a simple strategy to contain Caitlin Clark. Run her off the three-point line, force her into traffic, and make her settle for difficult, low-percentage shots. That strategy is now completely outdated. With her newfound strength and explosiveness, defenders can no longer push her off her spots. She's using her stronger frame to absorb contact, fight through defenders, and get exactly where she wants on the court. And that mid-range game, it's becoming an absolute weapon. Coach Stephanie White has worked extensively with Clark on stopping in the lane, pulling up for quick, efficient shots, and keeping defenders guessing at all times. If defenders sag off to protect against the drive, she's burying the pull-up jumper. If they step up to contest, she's blowing past them for an easy finish at the rim. And if they send help, her vision, now sharper than ever, allows her to make pinpoint passes to open shooters. Clark has evolved into an unpredictable offensive force, and that unpredictability is turning into a nightmare for defenses. Coach White has been clear. Clark is no longer just a deadly three-point shooter. She's now a complete offensive weapon who can score from anywhere on the floor. And the scarier part? She's still adding more layers to her game, making her even harder to stop. But Clark's growth isn't just physical or skill-based, it's also in her leadership. That's one of the biggest transformations Coach White has seen. Last season, Clark was still adjusting to being the face of a franchise, trying to balance her scoring with her playmaking responsibility. responsibilities. Now, she's fully embracing her role as the true leader of the Fever. She's more vocal, taking charge in huddles, and setting the tone for her teammates. During practices, she's calling out defensive coverages, adjusting plays on the fly, and holding everyone accountable. She's no longer just leading by example, she's leading with her voice. And for a young team looking to make a statement in the WNBA, that's exactly the kind of leadership they need. Caitlin Clark understands that pure talent alone isn't enough to win in the WNBA. It takes leadership, trust, and chemistry. That's why she's been putting in just as much effort off the court as she has on it, ensuring that the Indiana Fever operate as a cohesive unit rather than a team simply waiting for her to work her magic. She's constantly communicating with her teammates, making sure they're all locked in and moving as one. It's a shift that hasn't gone unnoticed. Coach Stephanie White and Clark's teammates have all seen the transformation. She's no longer just playing like a rising star. She's playing like a leader, someone who is setting the tone for a team that's hungry to win. A major reason for this shift, the Fever's completely revamped offense, designed to maximize Clark's evolving skill set. Last season, the burden fell squarely on her shoulders. She was handling the ball nearly every possession, creating her own shots, and constantly battling intense defensive pressure. But this year, things are different. The front office brought in key reinforcements like DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Brianna Turner, giving Clark the kind of support system she lacked as a rookie. Now, she doesn't have to carry the offense alone. With better floor spacing, more movement, and additional scoring threats around her, the Fever's attack has become far more dynamic. Coach White has implemented more off-ball actions, allowing Clark to get open looks without having to force her way through double teams on every possession. The early results? Game-changing. Clark is playing more efficiently, the offense is flowing with purpose, and for the first time in years, the Fever are looking like a legitimate contender. The ball is moving, the pace is up, and most importantly, Clark is thriving in a system that allows her to be the best version of herself. But make no mistake, her biggest motivation isn't just winning, it's proving the doubters wrong. Clark has heard every criticism. She knows the whispers, the skepticism surrounding her ability to be a true superstar at the professional level. She's aware of the questions about whether she can lead a team to success in a league stacked with elite talent, and she's using every single bit of that doubt as fuel. Every extra rep in the gym, every late night film session, every adjustment she makes, it's all with one goal in mind, showing the world that she's not just here to compete, she's here to dominate. Every single day in practice, Coach Stephanie White sees it firsthand. Caitlin Clark isn't just chasing greatness, she's demanding it. She refuses to settle, refuses to slow down, and refuses to be anything less than the most dominant player on the floor. And if her performance in training camp is any indication, the rest of the WNBA better take notice, because Clark isn't just returning stronger, she's returning with a mission to take over the league. Clark has completely revolutionized her approach to the game, and with Coach White guiding her development, the Indiana Fever have finally built a system that maximizes her strengths. This isn't the same player we saw last season. She's more powerful, more precise, and more relentless in her pursuit of excellence. Clark's transformation isn't just impressive, it's a warning to the entire WNBA. She's back, better than ever, and ready to dominate. Do you think she's about to take over the league? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.